guys? Welcome back to my channel, House of Grace. I'm Erica, and if you're new here, I usually do homeschooling videos, but I actually wanted to kind of change that up a little bit. And I was thinking recently, I keep starting these YouTube channels, which I actually really enjoy doing, and I love editing these videos. It's something that's like a passion of mine and a hobby of mine, and it's a way for me to get my creativity out. And I actually really love doing them. But I keep starting them and then I keep stopping. And I keep thinking to myself, like, why am I doing that? Why am I starting these things and stopping? And I was listening to a podcast the other day that was talking about being authentically you. And I think the reason why I keep stopping these YouTube channels is because I keep trying to be somebody that I think I'm supposed to be, or trying to be somebody else that I've seen online. Instead of just being myself and talking about things that I'm dealing with or going through or sharing my story. So I'm still going to show homeschooling stuff on this channel because that's a big part of who I am, is a homeschool mom, and that's a huge part of my day. But that's not all of who I am. I'm also a wife, and I'm also a woman, and I also have different journeys that I'm on right now. Like, I'm on a healing journey trying to heal my body from certain things. I'm on a healing journey spiritually, and also healing from past traumas. And I'm also just trying to figure out where I fit in the world, being a mom and a wife. Like, who am I and where do I fit into all of that? So I just wanted to really start just being like authentically myself on these channels, and I think that will give me more of a passion and purpose going forward. So for instance, today, something that was on my mind was that I was listening to a podcast. There's several podcasts that I listen to. I'm a huge podcast lover. I absolutely love podcasts. So one of the podcasts that I was listening to the other day, it's called The Gold Digger, which I'm sure you guys have heard of, with Jenna Kutcher. And she was doing a podcast, and she was talking about being seen. And then when she was doing the podcast, they were talking about bringing up little wins or things that we've manifested in our lives, and then we don't celebrate those things. So for instance, as a mom, I had dreams and visions and thoughts in my head way before I became a mom. So before I became a mom, my husband and I had a miscarriage the first time that we tried to have a baby. And then it took about 2 years for us to get pregnant with my son, who is now almost 7, which is unbelievable. But I just remember in that time of waiting, in that season of waiting, just hoping and praying and doing everything I could to possibly have a son. I just remember all these visions in my head. I remember visualizing reading books to my children. I remember visualizing making pancakes with my children, or decorating a Christmas tree, or going to the park, or teaching them to ride a bike, or singing the ABCs with them. And then we all of a sudden get these moments that we've visualized, and these moments that we have thought about, and they just pass us by. Like, they come, and then we don't celebrate the fact that, like, these things that we dreamed for and wished for and visualized and manifested, if you want to call it that, or whatever, they come to us, and then we just, because it becomes normal, they just completely pass us by, and we don't celebrate those things. And I think that even from a spiritual perspective, I think that God would want us to celebrate these moments and these things that He's blessed us with. So something that I'm really trying to do this week after listening to that podcast is just like really put myself in that present moment, which is something I have to work on because I'm not good at being present. My brain is, I'm very type A, and type A people really like to be productive. And to me, if I'm not 100% accomplishing things or crossing things off a list, it feels like I'm not doing anything, and I get like frazzled, and I'm like, oh, I didn't do anything. But I'm really trying to be present in these moments and realize that when I made pancakes with my daughter this morning and she had flour all over herself, instead of me being like, okay, let's make these pancakes, let's get them made, let's eat breakfast, we gotta move on to school, or we gotta clean up the flour. Like, no, like, really just stop and be present in that moment and look at her little face. Look at that tiny little face that you manifested, that you wanted, that you prayed for, that you dreamed for, that you visualized. And look at her and just be present in that moment, and look at that flower on her face and thank God for that moment. Celebrate that moment. Celebrate that moment that you wished for, that you prayed for, that you hoped so much for, that you said you would do anything for, and just celebrate it, just relish in that moment. So I kind of like stopped and slowed myself down, and I was like, let me just watch her play with this flour. Like, she was taking the tablespoon and digging it in the flour and scraping it with the leveler, and instead of like me rushing her through it, which is what I have a tendency to do, I just stopped and slowed down in that moment, and I was like, okay, let's really celebrate the fact that this is here, that this moment is here, that I wanted so badly. And the same thing, even, the other day I was taking my son for a bike ride, like watching him ride a bike. The fact that we taught him how to ride a bike, the fact that I have a son, the fact that I have a son in a great house that owns a bike, that I can teach him how to ride a bike, like all of these things are things that are to be celebrated and not just glossed over and to become normalized. Like, yeah, it is a normal part of the day, but instead of it just being like another humdrum part of the day, like, okay, let's go for this bike ride. Great, we saw the trees, the lights, whatever. Now let's go home and move on to the next thing. Like, no, be present in that moment. Watch your son. Look at the joy on his face. Look at him discovering things. Slow down to like the children's pace. Sometimes I think too, as adults and parents, we want our children to move as fast as we do. And, we're always on to what's next, what's the next thing, what's the next plan, like kind of just rushing through the day. But if we look at the way that they discover things, I mean, really, if you take a walk with your 3-year-old around the block, it will take you like an hour and a half. So like they really do things at a slow pace. But if you do things at their pace sometimes when you can really appreciate the world around you so much more. They're the trees that they see and the flowers. My daughter's absolutely obsessed with picking flowers. When we go for a walk, she'll find these little tiny flowers and she wants me to smell them and look at them. So yeah, just really slowing down to that child's pace and also just celebrating those things that you have. Like really just stop and celebrate. You can celebrate by rewarding yourself with something. You can celebrate by taking a great picture. You can celebrate by dancing with each other. You can celebrate in so many different ways, whatever makes you feel happy and joyful. Like, I just really think that we need to be celebrating the moments and celebrating the things that we've prayed and hoped and wished for so long, instead of just as soon as we get them, moving on to the next thing. But yeah, so that was what was on my mind today. And I kind of want to do these daily videos where, I don't know, things like that will just be in my mind and talk about them and really like cultivate a community that can share their ideas and share their wins and share what they're doing and, different things on all different kinds of topics, because there's always so much going on in my brain that, I just really want to start being more authentically myself, especially online, because, YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all of those things, they're such highlight reels, which is great. Like, everybody loves seeing people's happy memories. That's awesome. But it can sometimes feel like you have to be something that you're not in order to be present online. And I just really want to be who I am. And this is what I was thinking about the other day when I was listening to that podcast. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys, and hopefully maybe you take something from it and just really like slow down, enjoy those moments, really visualize the fact that this moment that you're living in is probably something that you visualized and prayed for and hoped for and wished for, and it's here. And instead of just letting it completely pass you by so quickly, celebrate that moment that you're in. Even if it's a tough moment, even if you're taking your kid to the doctor because they have an ear infection, you're in that moment. Celebrate the fact that you're a mom. Celebrate the fact that you live in a country where we have healthcare. Celebrate the moment that you get to hold your baby and give them a hug and comfort them during that time. Because that's still something that I even visualized before I became a mom. It was like, if my kids are sick, I'm gonna make them chicken soup and I'm gonna cuddle with them on the couch and I'm gonna read them a book and like all of these things. So even in those tough moments, there are ways that we can celebrate, which I know is easier said than done. But yeah, just really look for those moments, especially when you're in a moment and you realize like, wow, like I really saw myself doing this one day and here I am doing it. And it doesn't have to just be with parenting. It could be with work things. It could be with anything. But just anything that you've hoped and wished and prayed for, and you realize that you're in that moment, just stop and celebrate it. But yeah, so that's what I have to say for today. And I hope you guys have an awesome day. And we're still going to do a lot of homeschool stuff. I might even show you in this video what's in my homeschool cart, because that was an idea that I had recently too. But yeah, in the comments down below, let me know what are some of the ways that you celebrate like your small wins, or maybe some of the ways that you want to celebrate your small wins, or maybe did this video inspire you at all to do that? So yeah, let me know down in the comments and anything else that you want to see. All right, have a good day, guys. Bye.